So let's talk about Vajrakalaya or Bendrakalaya as an example of the fusion, the Shimbutsu Shugo, the Nyingma, the Buddha Bon that we use around here. We do a lot of places, they do the Vajrakalaya festival every year or every few years. And they do like continual chanting for, several days where they do tag teams on it. And they just try to sustain the energy for several days. Typically, storms do not develop while they're doing this. But it formats all the storm energy for a period of time, for a year, for 5 years, for however long their cycle is. And instead of acting in the moment, saying, I'm mad at this person, I want to generate a storm that's going to knock down their house and blow up their wedding, we get together and we talk about the harms, the wrongs, the energies that we have, the stuff that's been stolen, and all of that sort of thing. And, make confessions about our own wrongdoings and things like that. And talk about how we don't want bad energies to be rewarded and things like that. And then when storms do develop, they tend to look a little bit more karmic than they would have otherwise. That's when you're working with the Buddhas. If you're working with these really heavy sorceries, you might do something that looks like really extreme one time or another. But typically, those are one-offs, and you pay very heavily for it. Some people have developed methods in which, they generate something like Zoroastrianism or something, but even that only had its power briefly and then lived on the rumors for thousands of years. Recharged every once in a while by some wilder that could be considered coincidental. So, but this, working with the Buddhas, working with the, wrathful forms of Guru Rinpoche, or working with other wrathful energies that are tied to Buddhist restrictions, more closely working with the Dharmapalas, your energy is more sustainable. You come away from it still part of your own continuum and still capable of positive outcomes. And again, in theory, everybody's still capable of positive outcomes. I'm just saying, in a comprehensible future. Your subatomic, your pre-atomic particles could be like recycled, and eventually they will be part of somebody who is, positively there. But there still seems to, in Bon, we believe in this residue we call a soul. I forget the Tibetan word for it, to be honest with you, but it, there really is, and when I was dead, I was told there really is a continuum of consciousness that is associated with identities. So a lot of Buddhists don't think that that's real, but they don't think that the floor is real or the walls are real. And these are things that reflect in the next world as well. And the idea that you can annihilate your own self, annihilate your own consciousness, like you've been deleted in a computer program, that's Maitreya's message. It's hinted at by Shakyamuni, but it's more Maitreya's message, and I'm not sure if we have that message correct either. So that's the difference, I think, in what I'm trying to show you here than what maybe Milarepa did. But again, like I said, Milarepa is part of my continuum. People wanted to understand. He was supposed to have come back and taught. That was one of the parts of his deal. And because he didn't do that, he was killed in such a way that his body was consumable after death, and it was consumed. And those relics, I may not have obtained a relic of a relic. I didn't obtain it, and my husband did. And so I don't know if it was a relic of a relic or if it was a direct relic, because that's one of the things. A whole person's body can be turned into a lot of pills, and So, um, and you never know what parts you're going to get or how well it's been mixed. Um, so, or how far you could dilute it, because it's not 100%. So that's another thing you need to think about. What's your consciousness going to be like spread among thousands of people for thousands of years? If you fail to fulfill your responsibilities and you didn't teach and you got stuck in a certain situation. I mean, one of the things that having Milarepa inside does is that when my brother-in-law decided to basically cheat and tried to force me to become a nun, I went pretty far on it. And that's a struggle too. That some of my natural behavior as not someone who is not a nun did not have. You have to have permission. Some people say you don't have to have permission to become a Buddhist monk or nun. But it's been our experience that it makes a difference on your path. And it just seems unfortunate when you don't have that permission to us.